please don't shy away from your mics, from your chats, so that we are all interacting and we are all participating and active for today. I would like to know what you guys think. I would like to know what you know as well, so that we can learn from each other, so that the information doesn't come only from me, but from also all of us. Okay, so I will tell you more about myself. I am um, DUT alumna, but I'm still studying. So I did my consumer sciences and food and nutrition diploma at DUT, and currently I am pursuing my advanced diploma, as you can see on the screen, and I'm working at Rainbow as a process trainer. I'm aspiring to become a technical trainer, and then maybe after a few years, I would like to branch into lecturing if I gain when I've gained more industry experience, not only with chicken, but also with other products as well. So that is it from my side, and I'm going to move on to the next slide. If it happens that I cut or you guys can't hear me or anything goes wrong, please don't hesitate to maybe type on the chat or even just to open your mics and let me know. All right. So it's not many of us today, so I would like to give you guys an opportunity to introduce yourselves. You can let us know your name, your surname, what you are currently doing, whether you are working or studying or doing both, and what you aspire to be. Yeah, you can be short and not more than a minute. Yeah, can we just please start? I can point you guys. I can start maybe by saying, Ken Govender, since you've already opened your mic before, please kindly lead us and start on this one.
Thank you. My name is Angeline Govender. I am studying a Bachelor of Applied Science in Food Science and Technology. And I aspire to be in the food science field. I'm still between options at the moment.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much. Thank you for that. You're in for technology. All right. Next person, please. Let me try and lead you guys on this one. Ngumalo, can you please kindly introduce yourself to us? Ngumalo, are you there?
Hello, everyone.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good.
Mm-hmm.
My name is Mlindi. My surname is Namalo. I'm doing catering management. I am a first year student.
Catering management. All right. Thank you, Mandy. Um, there's someone who's written read AI meeting notes. Okay, that's reading AI meeting notes. Sorry for that. Who else do we have here? Mr. Ngumba, can you help me on that one? Who else do we have or whom you can see on the screen? I can't see everyone. Oh, there we go. Why? I don't want to butcher that surname, but the picture, the guy with the picture, please kindly introduce yourself for us.
All protocol observed. Um, Thank you, Miss Tlenyama, for an opportunity. I would like to extend my gratitude, and I'm happy to be here. Hopefully, I'll learn a lot from like, actually everyone. By the way, my name is Yonela. My surname is Diagobe. I'm currently pursuing my honors diploma in sustainable horticulture, and I'm currently working as a horticulturist in one of the estates around Umhlanga. I have a strong passion in environmental sustainability and also in food production using my horticultural experience, whereby I train and empower students who have a strong passion in creating vertical gardening and also enhancing food security within like South Africa and also externally, making sure that we achieve the sustainable development goals. I have a strong passion also in working with people who are with working people who are passionate about bringing about positive say change within our local communities and like empowering everyone in terms of healthy lifestyle living, eating healthy nutritious food, and also promoting environmental sustainability.
Okay, thank you so much, Yonela. Thank you for your introduction. Nice to meet you. Anyone else left behind? Oh, we have Sianda Mkulu. Please kindly introduce yourself, Sianda.
Greetings, everyone.
Greetings.
My name is Sianda, and I'm a software developer. I'm working here in Pretoria. It's nice to be here. Looking forward to what you have for us today. Thanks.
All right. Thank you so much. Is there anyone that I'm leaving behind? Mm. Mr. Ngobo, please do introduce yourself as well so that we can all get to know you and then we can proceed. Can you hear me, Mr. Ngobo? I'm not sure if Mr. Ngobo can hear me, but I believe that we can continue. Thank you so much, guys, for participating and being respectful and opening your mics and telling all of us about yourselves. So I'm just going to move on to the next slide. And again, this is going to be an engaging session. So I really encourage each and every one of us to actually participate. So on what we have there on the list, the second thing is the ground rules. As I'm emphasizing that we're all going to be participating, I urge you to kindly keep your mics muted. But if you have any comments, it's just the 7 or 8 of us here. So you can just open your mic and say sorry, and then say what you would like to say, whether it's a comment or a question. But if a question can wait until the end, then you can just jot it down, write it down, and then when I ask for the questions at the end, you can ask your question as well. So I think that is it when it comes to the ground rules from my side. I hope everything is clear. Okay. Okay, I see a question there. The meeting is for everyone. If you're interested on the topic, you can join. Whether you're a first year or a third year, maybe if you would like your classmates to join, you can send them the link on the group and remind them to join if they had known about the meeting as well. That will not be a problem. Yes, let me continue. I hope I've answered you. Maybe that is Mandy. All right, so this was our poster, our invitation poster, and one of the quotes that we had there says that if you think food safety is expensive and not very important, then try illness. So I have a question for all of us there that says that what came into your mind when you saw the statement, or what comes to your mind even right now when I am reading the statement to you? What do you think about it? Yeah, I know this can be very broad. Yeah, but you can just share your sentiments with us. Yeah, maybe two people can respond to this one, and then we will move on to the another slide. There's no right or wrong answer on this one, and there are no marks. But what I can say is the person who will answer this question will do get a mark, a zero hunger mark mug from Vibrant Campuses. Yeah, I hope that is clear. I'm sorry, I just moved on from the slides by mistake. Yeah, so anyone, you can just shoot through, you can just open your mic and say Mandy, or say it's me, Miss Gavenda, and then you can shoot your answer. think someone wanted to say something and then I continued speaking. Yeah, you can go through, Yonela.
Good afternoon once again, colleagues. When I saw that quote, I thought of this quote that goes by, "Prevention is better than care, than cure." So if you eat healthy food, you are more likely to get health rather than spending money visiting doctors and also seeking for medical attention. So that's what I thought. If you can start like eating healthy food, that is very nutritious, you can save yourself from getting ill. So yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much. Thank you for that, Janela. Prevention is better than cure. I'll say rather in our case, it is better to make sure that you're consuming safe food rather than to try and cure yourself or take care of yourself after you've been affected in any case because of negligence or any reason. All right. Anyone else? Anyone else? For those who are coming in, you guys are welcome. You're welcome. We are on our buzz quiz, icebreaker, open discussion vibes. So the question that we have is based on a statement that we have on our poster. Right there on our poster, there's a statement that says that if you think food safety is expensive and not very important, then you must try illness. I would like for anyone, the second person, I'll take just one more person, to share their sentiments on the statement. What comes to your mind when you're sharing this? We've heard from Yonela. Can we please kindly hear from anyone else who'd like to share? So no one else wants this mug, or should I point anyone? Can I point it to you, Miss Govender, for the last time? Putting on on the spotlight again.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay.
When I look at the statement, I think of all the foodborne illnesses and the effect that they have on the human body and how severe illnesses can be and how they often go, shall I say, undiagnosed or unrecognized because people are not aware of these illnesses and how harmful they
Yes.
are. Thank
Okay,
you.
thank you so much. Thank you for your response. So we've had two, um, I'll say opinions or thoughts from two of you guys, and thank you so much for sharing that. And indeed, I believe what you have said is true. It is important for us to ensure that we consume safe food. That's how I can summarize it, so that you don't consume just anything that might impact you, and then you need to take care of yourself after or spend money or yeah, risk your life because of consuming something that is not proper for your body or for you. I would move on to the next slide. Before you ask me about the marks, I believe when Mr. Noble will contact you guys. So it'll be Yonela and Miss Governor. He'll contact you guys and communicate how you're gonna receive your marks, most likely on campus at DUT. Yeah. Thank you. Let me mute this person. Okay. All right. Let me continue. Our time is ticking. So a slide right there says that did you know? So we are speaking about unsafe food. It's just information that was drawn from statistics that we already have. It says that each year 1 in 10 people fall ill from eating unsafe food. So I'll just make an example. Sometimes you just have an upset stomach, but you do not know maybe where it's coming from. Some people would know, but some people would not know. So that's the example that I can make. Maybe you've been eating the whole day and then all of a sudden your stomach is upset, or you just had one meal and it's possible that you might know that this is what might have gotten me sick, or this what might have made me to actually have an upset stomach. But either way, the statements just enlighten us that some people do consume food, and 1 out of 10 people fall sick from eating unsafe food. Another statement that we have there that says that affects the most vulnerable groups. So the most people who are affected by unsafe food, it's pregnant women, it's children who are under 5 years old, people who are elderly, and also people who have a compromised immune system. We also have something that speaks about that consumers can make it different by preventing foodborne illnesses, by keeping informed and promoting food safety. So this is where we're looking at that it is important. So basically, each and every one of us in the food industry play a certain role in ensuring that the food that reaches your table is safe for consumption. The people who are in the farms, whether who are growing crops or who are ensuring to take care of the animals that we consume, must make sure that they follow all the principles and procedures that they need to follow to ensure that at the end they've played their role so that the food that reaches the processing guys is according to the expected standard. Let me move from there so that we are all getting on the same page. So we are defining food safety and why food safety is important. I've already mentioned that it is important that the people follow all the procedures and practices. So what is food safety? Food safety is basically following all the procedures and practices that will help to ensure that at the end we do not get ill because of foodborne illnesses, or we do not get harmed by the food that we consumed. Yeah, the definition, we already have it there. So we will speak about examples. So everyone has, we might not have a written procedure at home, but there are rules that we know that are general we need to follow. I'll just make an example. You can't take a braai pack of meat and put it on the cardboard, even though you do not have any procedure. But we all grow knowing that if you have a braai pack of frozen chicken, it needs to go to the freezer. So I'm just making an example. It's something, it is a good practice. It is somewhere in the procedure, just that maybe you might not have it at home. So why is this important? Why is it important for each and everyone in the food chain to follow their practices, to follow their procedures to ensure that the food that we consume is safe? It is important because it helps us that at the end we do not have any foodborne illnesses that is spread around. It helps us to not get sick at the end. That is the benefit that we have. We will not get ill. There will be no, I'll just make an example. There was a time a few years ago where we had listeria. I think it's one of the most well-known foodborne illnesses in South Africa, because it's a recent case that we had that had basically affected most of the people due to, I'll say, unsafe food handling of a product in um, processing. Yeah, I'll just say it like that. So that's what we are referring to in this case, that at the end we want a product that is safe for us to consume. We do not want anything that we are not expecting from the product. We'll move on to the next slide. We are going to be looking at the different common food hazards. Maybe some of us would already know about them. So we do have hazards like physical hazards, chemical hazards, microbiological hazards, and allergen hazards. These are the things that we do know about. So um, I like to work with examples. So maybe I might be repeating examples as we continue, but I hope that we'll get the gist of what I'll be trying to pass on to you guys. So as I've listed, we have those 4 different hazards, and people who are in processing must play their role in ensuring that these hazards are not passed on to the product and they do not reach the consumer. So in case when we speak about physical hazards, we are speaking about that. Let's say um, I'm from a chicken factory or a chicken company. So I'll just make an example based on that. When we're making chicken, we must ensure that there is no metal that will end up being on the product, regardless of what the product is. So when we speak about physical hazards, that's an example that I can make. Because now, even if it's a tiny bit of a metal, you see when we have this, okay, I hope you can see my pen, the small tiny part over here that is bronze or goldish, even if we have that tiny part, we can't have this tiny part on a piece of chicken because I'll just make an example. Someone, if you give a small or young child, maybe a 3-year-old, nuggets, I'm just making an example because we also make nuggets, and then they consume them, maybe they might choke on that. Those are the examples that we have on a slide there. This can be that they can choke, they can, maybe when they're chewing, since they're still young, they can break their teeth. Yeah, a lot of things. If that metal is sharp, as I have that on the examples, then it can maybe cut them or just cause something that is not expected. And then that is an example for a physical hazard. When it comes to chemical hazards, so in a processing factory, um, we do the processing, we do clean as you go. During processing, we are not allowed to use chemicals. So when there's still a product, meat, spices, on the line or in the processing factory, we cannot bring chemicals to be nearby any raw material, to be nearby any chicken products, whether it's we are still on the ingredients or anywhere inside the factory. So all the chemicals are stored separately and they must all be clearly labeled. So when do chemicals come into the factory? They come into the factory during deep cleaning. So for example, us, we can have our deep cleaning maybe at night. When the shift ends, then they start the deep cleaning process. So all the chicken products are stored on the chiller and the other ones on the freezer. All the spices are on the dry goods stores, on the buffer stores. That is when we have the chemicals coming into the line to basically ensure that all the equipment is cleaned appropriately and accordingly. So how can we end up having a chemical in our own, maybe a burger or in our Vienna or anything? That can be possible if it happens that the chemical that was used during the deep cleaning was not measured accordingly. So some chemicals, let's say that chemical had to be mixed or it had to be rinsed off after. If that is not done accordingly, then we can have a problem of that when they come in the morning to process the chicken or to process the products, then the smell of the chemical can be basically end up being on the product, or the leftover chemical of a product, the chemical that was supposed to be rinsed off, maybe can end up being on the product as well. I'm just making an example. We've never had a case like that, but through reading, that's how we can possibly end up having a chemical on the product since it is not allowed during processing. So what can that cause? It can cause, as I've said, now that you're processing the chicken and then there's leftover chemical in the equipment, you can maybe when you're consuming your food, you can just smell something that is odd or something that smells like a chemical, of which it can only be the taste sometimes, since food chemicals that are used in a processing factory are food grade. So it can be the smell, or if the chemical is strong, it can cause illnesses and so on. And then microbiological hazards, I've already made an example of listeria. That's where we can go. It can be a cause of maybe not following some hygiene, yeah, can put it like that, hygiene practices and procedures. And then we also have allergen hazards. So this can be as a result of it can be sometimes negligent. Um, yeah, I think at most times, or not having good HACCP principles that are necessary in place. We'll make an example. Maybe we have different allergens, like we have fish, tree nuts is the most common one. Every time you touch a packaging or you touch something and you look at the behind the product, you see that, okay, most likely it's going to have tree nuts. But things like soya are very rare. So sometimes when you are doing processing, not all products maybe are going to have maybe dairy. I'm just making an example. That can be cheese. Yeah, in my case, I'm making an example because we do work with that. So if it happens that on the same line, maybe right now in this hour, we are making a product that is original. It doesn't have soya, it doesn't have gluten, it doesn't have cheese. And then as the day goes by, we are changing the line, cleaning is being done, and then now we are putting in, we're going to be running a product that has an allergen. Um, that is okay. That is okay. But if it happens, then thereafter, we are going to run a product that doesn't have those allergens, that mustn't have cheese, mustn't have soy, that mustn't have gluten, then deep cleaning must be done. But if there was some form of negligence done, or yeah, any mistakes of which that is not supposed to happen if we follow all the rules and procedures, then that is when you can have a allergen ingredient touching on a product that is not meant to have that allergen. So there are a lot of things that are put in place to ensure that there is no cross contamination and there is no mix up. I think that's the general term I can use. But either way, when you speak about allergen, this is what allergens can result to. Some people, the most common one, I think, it can be people who don't eat beef, because if you eat beef, maybe you have some reaction, maybe itchy skin. Some people they get, maybe their mouth will be numb or their tongue will be thick and numb. It can be different things. But some people really get it bad with allergens. They can be having like anaphylaxis, so that can be life-threatening. So it means that some of them, the pipes that are connected to your inside, basically the pipes that link your air, the whole process flow to the brain and everything. Some people, they shut down and then they struggle to breathe. So I'm trying to put it in very simpler terms for everyone to understand. Yeah, but those are the common food hazards. All in all, I'm explaining this in a very broad way so that I understand that it is really important to follow all the practices and procedures that are put in place for us people who are in food industry. And then we'll go on to explaining more how you guys can play a role in ensuring that the product that you receive from when you go and do your groceries up until you get home and package that product or put it where it's supposed to be until you take it out if you have to and prepare it as a meal. What role do you play as a student, as home a consumer, or maybe as a lecturer or as a family member even? So I hope you guys have understood the things that we do in industry, and then we'll move on to our next slide, which is food safety. We now looking at food safety along the food chain. So these are the steps that we have. We have people who take care of our products in the farms. So the pictures that we have there, I hope you can see, we have chicken everywhere. And then down there, we have someone who's washing vegetables. In as much as I'm going to be making more examples about chicken, but I also want you to have in mind all other products. You can have canned product, you can have dry goods like spices, maize meal, so that you can broaden your mind towards this topic. So this is not all about chicken since I'm from Rainbow, but I will be making examples that are based on chicken. All right. So I will move on. We see that we have people who take care of the products in the farms, people who take care of the products in processing, people who take care of the products when it's being transported. So here I'll just speak about Rainbow. Maybe even when you go online, there is a video that shares about the background of Rainbow and also speaks about how big Rainbow is now and what we do. Like Rainbow, we it's called broiling. We broil our own chicken. We make our own chicken food. So that means that we don't, okay, that is equal. They don't only make the chicken food only, but we also process food for impala, for horses, for goats as well. So Rainbow is broad in that way. So we grow our own chicken and then we make our own chicken food. There's a company that is responsible for transporting the chicken from the farms to the abattoir processing plants. And then there's also another transportation process of taking the chicken from the abattoir plants where they kill the chicken, remove the parts inside, make sure the chicken is clean. Maybe when they need to divide it into different pieces for us to get the breast, for us to get our skin, to get our butter and all the other different chicken parts. And then there's the transportation process when they now take those different chicken parts in that abattoir plant to now the further processing chicken plant. So it can be moving the chicken to where they're gonna make nuggets, burgers, Viennas. So that's what we are looking at. So when we get there, they will receive the chicken and look at the whole process of ensuring that the truck is clean, and then process the chicken. And then there's also another transportation process of now taking a finished products. Now we have burgers, we have our Viennas, and we are transporting them to retail, transporting them to Boxer, ShopRite, Checkers, and all the other retail stores. And then it is me and you, we go there and we buy our products. Maybe you are buying your Viennas that you're gonna use for hot dogs, as for lunch, basically as a student, or you are buying any other, maybe chicken breast, you're gonna use them to make your own chicken and mayo sandwich or anything. Yeah, so that is it. I've spoken of what is important in the farms, is that I know that one of the rules that applies is that even if the farms are neighbors, I will just put it like that. There's a farm here, and then maybe 1 kilometer away there's another farm. It is not allowed to take chicken from one farm to the other farm. If you are growing chickens, this maybe 10,000, 100,000 chickens in a farm, they need to stay on that farm. That is a rule that helps so that if it happens that there's a chicken that is sick, um, in that farm, they must not transport it maybe by mistake and to send to another farm so that there's no, um, I'll say cross contamination or causing other chickens to be sick. So that's another, I'll say a famous rule or procedure that needs to be followed. So when they are growing the chickens in one farm, they will grow there. They will they needs to be what is expected. If they're expecting them to a specific weight, then they know that after so many days, this chicken will be ready to be taken onto the abattoir plant. So farmers need to ensure that they take care of the chickens in environments. It is clean to just as you see, there's lighting, the chicken must get enough water, they must be vaccinated accordingly if they need vaccination, and all of that. Also, all the records needs to be put down. They do their own trace records to ensure the traceability process. So they will count the chickens as they grow. If there's any chicken that uh, I'll say passes by during the process, they need to note that down because now we are working in a big industry. And then also when they're transporting them, they will count how many chickens are we putting in this truck. Yeah, and so on. What is the weight? So they will get the average weight. If they need to get a weight for each and every chicken, they will do that according to their procedure. So basically, writing down everything helps with traceability processes, if I can put it in that sense. And then when we get to processing now, so when the chicken get there in processing, um, firstly, I think for people who live around maybe places where they are maybe farms, chicken farms, they would know that a truck that has chicken in it, it doesn't have sail. I believe it's called sail. So you can just see the chickens. When I'm walking even around this area, when I see the truck with chickens, I can see the chickens inside. So it's not like when the chicken is frozen and the truck will be closed. Yeah. I believe I'm making sense. So you can see the chickens, for so many reasons, they need some fresh air. They can be in a closed space, because if when the temperature is too high, more chickens die. So I think to maintain the temperature of the chickens, they make sure that the transportation. So I'm just trying to say another rule that is there, or a practice or a procedure that is done to ensure that the chickens get to the abattoir plant alive and also still safe. So when they get there, a process, I'll encourage you to go out online and look at the process. It is very interesting. For me, before I went to Rainbow, or before I knew that I was going there, I actually thought that it is a person who is responsible to make sure that they remove all the chicken feathers for each and every chicken, until I found out that at Rainbow they slaughter about 500,000 chickens in a week. So I was like, no ways. How can, like, how many people are going to do that in one week? So the process is very interesting. I encourage you guys, maybe after this you can even maybe find a video. It doesn't have to be from Rainbow. It can be just Google online and search for the slaughtering process of a chicken in factory. Yeah. So anyway, when the chickens get there, what is important is that they take the chickens from the crates and they put them in another room, especially when it's hot, or when the temperature is high. They allow the chickens to cool down before they slaughter them, of which was very interesting for me. So they will take them out from the truck with the crate, they put them in this room. So this room has fans and water. I don't know what it's called, the water. So you see the fan that releases tiny, tiny water sparkly things. So it's something like that, but they do it so that the chickens can cool down before they take them to be shocked and slaughtered and all of that. So what is important is they check the temperature. They know what the temperature is outside. They'll check the temperature of the chickens. They'll note it down, and then they'll allow them to cool down. When the temperature is what they expect, then they will take the chickens and continue with the process. Also, as I've said, the chicken is their weights are different, so they will know that, okay, this is the chicken that we need now, because maybe it's a chicken for this customer. This is what weight they are expecting for their chicken thighs. This is what weight they are expecting for their breast. Yeah, okay. And then when it comes to truck maintenance, I've explained that there's that truck that takes the chickens from the farms and take it to the abattoir plant, and then from the abattoir plant to the further processing plant, or yeah, factory, and then from there the one that delivers. So what is important with the truck that takes the chicken from the abattoir plants, now we're speaking about, maybe it's just chicken breast, and then it's just chicken skin. It's all in different, it'll be packaged in plastic that is with a bright color, so that we do not end up having plastic inside the meat. And then it will be put in boxes. So there's primary packaging, secondary packaging, tertiary packaging. From where? From the abattoir plant and to the further processing plants. The truck that will take the chicken from there and to the other processing plants, it needs to be on a specific temperature. So those are such things that they check. So there's a check sheet for that. They will look at the truck. There's someone who needs to inspect the truck. So yes, when the truck gets to the gate, there's that process that is being done just to check for safety reasons. But when it gets to the dispatching bay, yes, that is when there's an inspector who will look at the cleanliness and the hygiene, see if the truck meets the hygiene standards. They will note that down on their check sheets. They will look at what is already maybe inside the truck, if it is empty, yeah, for many reasons. And then they'll also check the temperature of the truck with their own thermometer. And also the trucks do have their own temperature inside. So the driver can actually see what temperature the truck is. So they will cross-check if the temperature that is on the truck is correct compared to their own calibrated thermometer. Then they will take all of those things, note them down accordingly before they allow their product to go into the truck. And then after that, the products will be transported to the further processing plant, or it will be sent to the customer. when it gets to the further processing plants, for example, factories that make Viennas or factories that make nuggets and burgers, then they also need to inspect the truck, check the temperature, check everything that is on their check sheets before they take this product and receive it to their processing plants. Because nobody wants to take something that does not meet the correct standard and that is not hygienic or that does not meet all the standards that are required. So I hope we get the understanding of traceability, checking, noting down, and the whole step of transportation. Also, when the further processing plant is done, maybe with the products, maybe the burgers are ready, or the nuggets are ready, or the Viennas are ready, before they dispatch them, definitely inside the factory, there are people who are responsible to monitor the whole process. There are process leaders, people who are leaders to ensure that food is safe, the quality of the product is according to the standard. Like there are people who have different roles inside before the product is released to be dispatched to all retail stores. Okay. Um, can I just check if we are still audible and if people are still there? I have been talking for such a long time. Maybe someone can just send a thumbs up, or someone can say we're still here, or you guys can still hear me. Whoop, whoop. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Um, all right. Let's continue. We are drawing towards the end of our presentation now. All right, so now, so food safety is everyone's responsibility in the business and also in retail. So this is very interesting and it's something that goes back to us as people who buy these products that were being taken care of from farm to processing to transportation and all of that. So it is important. So now, when we're looking at us going to the shop to buy the food, one of the rules that the people in retail stores follow is first in, first out. So they ensure that the product that was brought by the factories to them in retail is that was bought first is the one that sells out first. And the products that was brought to them lately or last is the one that will sell last. So I hope it makes sense. And they ensure that the food must be in correct temperatures. So even at Checkers or at Boxer or at Woolworths or in any shop, they must make sure that all the products are stored in correct temperatures at all times. That's why um, you will see that there's someone who's responsible for taking back the products. Maybe you were buying something and then when you get to the till, you are no longer taking it. Someone is responsible to take those products back to where they belong. It's not only to keep the store neat or to make sure that things are just packed nicely and attractive. Yes, that is date. If the store is neat and things are stored or packed in a nice way, it is attractive to us as customers. But one of the things that are more important for us now looking at the food safety perspective is that they must make sure that it is on the correct temperature. You can't take your what can I make an example? Something that does not belong on the freezer. You can't take the milk just because now you get to the freezer and you realize that, okay, you do not need 2 liters of milk. You just you need that one box of milk that is a 1 liter. And then now you are leaving it in between the fry packs with the chicken or with the frozen meat. You see, so someone is responsible people in the retail must ensure that there's someone who's responsible to take back all the products that are not where they belong immediately to where they belong. It is also encouraged to us, guys. So when you're buying something, that's encouraged for us that have a list so that you don't end up taking things and leaving them where they do not belong or leaving them just anyway. Because that it can break the cold chain and it can cause food safety issues. Okay, so I have something there that says storage guidelines. So expiry dates must be checked. That is a responsibility for people who are in retail, but it is also our responsibility as well. They must adhere to the food safety protocols. I've made examples. They must report hazards and at safe conditions. So in retail, when they receive the products, same as people who are in the processing factories, they note of everything. Even in retail, when the truck arrives in the receiving bay, they will check the temperature, they will check for hygiene, they will check everything as well. They even check. So, something that I forgot to mention is that before the truck arrives, the people who are in that factory must know that there's a truck so and so that is coming to deliver one, two, and three, or there's a truck so and so that is coming to pick up this, and that. So even the retail, um, you can't just send anything. The factory can't just say, we know that ShopRite loves our nuggets, so we're just gonna go there on a weekly basis because we wanna make maybe we wanna make more money. I'm making an example, but it is ShopRite who must order and say, okay, we need one, two, and three, so that when the truck gets there, there's order, and also they know where to put the products, and they are expecting the products, and they know, okay, we are receiving 120 pallets of one, two, and three, and the dates, the expiry dates for the pallet that we are receiving is on this day, and they put that on their system. That is how some shops, not some, that is how shops are able to trace their products and know, maybe we still have a lot of this chicken breast and they are expiring in the next 5 days. So we definitely need to put it in special before it expires so people can buy it immediately and use it immediately before it expires. I hope I'm making sense. So it is the traceability that helps with that. So because now they can see on the system, they don't have to run around checkers checking, okay, when is this expiring? When is this expiring? They must have it on the system so that they can track it easily. Going to the lines and to the aisles can just be a confirmation for them to confirm again, okay, this is how many we really have. This is according to the system that we already have. Let's put it on special. And then maybe you go there, you see all the meats have a sticker and it's just expiring in the next 5 days because they know that if they keep it maybe for long, then it will be a loss for them. So rather, they put it on special so that we buy it and they don't make a loss. Yeah, they don't make 100% loss. So let us look at that we have different keys that helps us to have safer food. So right there, it is important for us to keep clean. I know I've been a student and I've stayed at Grace. One of the most annoying things for me was the kitchen that was always almost dirty unless maybe the ladies who are helping with cleaning were there. And most of the times, when I was still at race, I knew that I think male guys for me would burn uputsu and they would leave it everywhere. I don't know why, but I'm just referring to cleanliness. So those are one some of the issues that I know that resident students face is an unclean kitchen. So such things, I know someone can say, maybe I'm young and I will not have any problems, even if I eat food from a dirty kitchen and what so on. But guys, it's important to keep clean for hygiene and also for your food to be safe. You don't end up having an upset stomach or any problems at the end. So that is what I will just pick up from there and then go straight to our shopping tips. Yeah, maybe if we, oh, our time is almost up. Maybe if we do have time, or if maybe Mr. Ngombo has a plan on how we can maybe continue for 5 more minutes, then I will hear from him. But excuse me, when it comes to shopping tips, what I would advise and encourage for all of us to do, whether you're a student or you're a lecturer, or if you're a consumer and you do buy groceries, if possible for you, buy a reusable cooler bag. It is there at Checkers. They have it at ShopRite as well. They have it at Pick and Pay as well. So that every time you buy your meat, you store it in there before you go, and you can clean it up and reuse that. You can even store other cold things that needs to, maybe if you want to retain that cold temperature until you get home. So this helps for anyone. I learned it from my mom's sister because she lives far in the farms. So in order for a meat to retain a correct temperature or a good cold temperature, she will use the shopping bag. But it's the same thing that we can use as well as people who are buying anyway. Also, we know we must check for the expiry dates, check the packaging, and also another advice would be when you're doing your shopping and you have your shopping list, leave the meat and the cold products and the ready to eat food towards the end. I hope I'm making sense. So, but most importantly, the meat must be the last thing that you will take before you go and pay at the till. Um, yeah. So you check your expiry dates, buy a reusable cooler bag, um, buy the frozen and the chilled products, especially meat at the end. And also, when you're putting things on the trolley, try to divide them nicely. You can't have your soap next to your, maybe next to your apple. Like you have your soap, the apples are on top of the soap. I hope I'm making sense. Things must be separated and divided into like good sections, non-food items and food items. Another advice would be when it comes to defrosting our meat products, frozen meat products at home now, it is important that you do not keep on breaking the cold chain of a product. For example, you bought 2 kgs of chicken pieces, ibrai pig, and then every time before you cook your chicken, you take out the whole braai pig and leave it on the sink for it to defrost. And then you just take 2 pieces or 3 or 4, cook it. And then you take the whole braai pig back to be frozen. That is not right. That is not correct. That is not healthy. And it is completely not safe to be done. Even if they're doing it at home, it is your responsibility from today to teach them it is not right. It is not safe. So what you can do is when you buy your meat products, when you get home, you can just separate it into the different pieces. If you know that at rest, you usually cook 3 pieces of meat. Maybe you eat today and eat tomorrow, depending on, or maybe you eat today, or maybe in for lunch and then you eat it again for dinner. Or you cook 1 piece, separate the pieces, but don't do the whole not good process of defrosting the whole meat and then taking it back to the fridge again and doing it again the following days. So you can divide it. Maybe you can use plastic, maybe clear plastic to divide it 4 piece, 4 piece, 4 piece. Every time you need to cook, you just take the meat that you need, you defrost it in the fridge. So you put it in the chiller, maybe in a nice container. You let the meat defrost maybe overnight and cook in the morning, or you leave it in the morning when you come back, maybe from campus or from work. Then you can take the chicken and cook it accordingly. I see that we have a very short time. Mr. Ngobo, can you please kind of help me and give direction in terms of should I continue or should we wrap up?
Okay. How
Because I think,
much? Yeah, I don't know. Depending how much you still wanted to cover or how much that you think we can just skip, then maybe you can just run through it quickly. Then your
okay.
audience will decide. But yeah,
Okay, no, I wanted to know that when 5 minutes is up, is the meeting gonna shut down?
I don't think so. I don't think so. Last time I remember, it never shutted down. So yeah, don't think so.
Okay. All right. So guys, apologies with time, but okay, if possible, can you guys give us so from the time that we're meant to end, can you give us maybe 5 more minutes so that you guys can ask your questions or make your comments? But I'm just going to wrap up with 3 slides. So it's this one, including this one that we are on, and then the slide at the end. The other ones I am going to skip. So I believe that I've covered all the shopping tips. And when it comes to 5 keys to safer food, I did cover keeping clean, separating raw from cooked foods. You do that everywhere. You do that when you are shopping. You do that in the fridge at home, store food in containers, even in the freezer. Do not put a raw chicken with your cooked curry together in one maybe plastic or closer to each other, but rather use a container, maybe for people who freeze their curries, put it in the container and freeze it in the container. So I believe that it'll be separated well from the raw food. Another thing, cook food to correct temperatures. A chicken, in my case, it must be thoroughly cooked. Thoroughly cooked. The bone, when you open it, the color, it mustn't be that reddish. I hope I'm making sense. That's thoroughly cooked. The meat that is closer to the bone, it mustn't have blood or, yeah. I'm just trying to be generic about that one so that we all understand. But at the same time, that applies to all different kind of food products. And then keep food at safe temperatures. I believe that we've covered that. Safe temperatures at home, safe temperatures even when you are taking your groceries from the shop and making your way home. Even inside the shop, it is advised, as I've said, have a list. Do not do the bad practice of taking chicken or taking beef or taking Viennas at the beginning of your shopping um, time, and then at the end, when you are done with everything, you've already broken the cold chain, you leave it at the till, you are no longer buying it. It is not right, it is not good, it is not safe. Don't do it. Teach your everyone around you in your life to never do that. And apply the process of buying your chicken, buying your beef, buying all your cheese, chilled and frozen products at the end. Okay. All right. So that is it. I'll skip the slide. This information can be shared and it can be researched. So let's speak about the importance of reporting. So I've already explained that we have traceability processing all the steps. I want to encourage you guys, not only with the product that I'm working with all products. If you buy something and it is not according to the standard, do not be afraid to report it. You can be helping yourself, you can be helping a whole nation or everyone who has a possibility of receiving or purchasing the same product that you have bought. Maybe, for example, I'll just make an example with, let's say, a canned product. You buy a tin, a canned fish tin, and then when you open it, it has a very bad odor, not the fish smell, but you smell like maybe it is off. Do not be like, oh, I've already opened it. What can I do? I can't go back to ShopRite or I can't go back to Pick and Pay anymore and throw it away. Check at the back. At the back of the packaging, you'll see the email address, you'll see a cell phone number, you'll see an address. Take a picture. That is important. Take a picture of the product, even if it's opened. I know they can't see the smell. You can take a picture of it opened as is, maybe to see if the color is what you are used to or not. Take a picture of where the dates, expiry dates, and the production date is showing. And then you can send an email, you can call them to inform them, but I think the email is better because now they can even see the pictures of what you're speaking about. Calling can help you maybe to know if it is something that they have already picked up and maybe they're working on maybe recalling the products for everyone who has brought it or refunding you guys if there's a need that they refund the people and so on and so forth. If you have questions on that, we'll look at it at the end. But I encourage you guys, if you buy something and it is not according to the standard, do not keep quiet because you may be saving even other people who might still purchase the same product and maybe not notice what you have noticed. It can be a lot of other different things that you can pick up from a product. Maybe you bought it, didn't notice the expiry date. and that is so wrong, still you can report that or even take it back to where you bought the product from, because no one is supposed to be purchasing or getting an expired products in the shops. Yeah, we are at the end. We are at the end, guys. So I will just even skip this one of key takeaways. We can get, I think we'll pick that up from the questions that we're going to have, and I will allow you guys to ask any questions. But most importantly, thank you so much for staying up until this time. Thank you so much for listening to this presentation. Thank you so much for participating throughout. And I saw more people joining. I hope maybe Mandy did send the link, or Mr. Ngobo did reach out to more people. But it was good to share this information with each and every one of you. Yeah, Mr. Ngobo. Can I allow questions at this time so that we can wrap up and say goodbye within the next 5 minutes? So if you have a question, you can just raise your hand, and yeah, I'll take questions. For everyone who has questions, can you raise your hand so that we see how many people has questions or comments? And then I'll start, I'll just take your names down and then start with anyone who has their hand up. I saw one person has raised their hand. I don't know where they vanished to. Okay, yes, Mr. Ngobo. And then we have El Ngoza.
Okay, thank you so much, Thobe, for a beautiful presentation, very informative. Yeah, a lot has been said, and I was just listening, and I was saying how I wish, but I will try my best to share this presentation with at least my student here in the Department of Hospitality and Tourism. But
Okay.
then this is not a question, but it's a comment. The last slide that you shared with us, maybe other students have noticed this, or maybe they have not. I just not so long ago, I just bought a minion of from Chicken Licken. And when I was eating it, I started to notice that it tastes like it's an old bread. And secondly, it has a little bit of a smell. But then quickly, to be sure whether is it old or what, I just quickly tried to find out whether does the product have an expiring date. I wanted to see the expiring date. And I looked at the product, I looked, and I could not able to find an expiring date. Then I was just wondering, is it right for us as consumers to continue buying something that we know that it does not have an expiring date, or is it okay for a restaurant or an industry to send something to people to consume without an expiring date? And again,
Date.
yeah, and again, why it? I don't know. I think you have already covered why it is important that the product should have an expiring date. For instance, for me, when I noticed that it tasted a little bit off, I wanted to see an expiring date so that I would say maybe it's my taste buds, or maybe yes, it is already expired. And I was just wondering, do also students experience something like that? Have they also picked that thing up? That's what the bread that they buy from Chicken Licken, it does not have expiring date. Yeah, I don't know, but this was not a question, was just a comment, just adding on what you said. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe others can share their sentiments. Guys, you do have Chicken Licken there by, I know, by Steve Biko Road. Has anyone else maybe picked that up? Because I believe that is so interesting. Very interesting. And now I'm even thinking if it doesn't have an expiry date, which means that possibly there are no details there even. Has anyone picked it up? That is interesting. I'm definitely gonna look for it, and I'm definitely gonna ask them when I get there.
Yeah, and what it means, Tobe, it means if nobody has picked that up, it means most of us
Yes.
don't read the labels. We just don't care. We just don't care how safe the food it is, or the food that we eat. Yeah.
True. True. Chicken Licken is very big for that. for doing such. So I'm really interested in that. And I'll definitely try and ask about it. I hope you were encouraged and you did maybe ask them, email them, check for their customer line online and ask, guys, why are you doing such a thing to us? And this is what I picked up. Yeah. Guys, has anyone picked that up? And before I give you, Mr. Ngoza, the platform to ask your question. Okay, I believe no one has picked it up. I'm gonna go and I'm gonna buy and I'm gonna ask them, Mr. Ngobo. That's me trying to be an ambassador for safety, ambassador. Yeah. Okay. Over to you with the question. Please do say your surname first because I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it correctly. I'm scared that I'm butchering your surname right now. But yeah, please unmute and ask your question.
Good day, Miss Lenyama. Actually, I'm Lobabalo Mzantlantangco.
Lubaba Lobani?
Lobabalo Mzantlantangcoza.
Ngoza. Okay, I got it right. Okay, what's your question, Lubabalo?
My question is based on my production. So actually, I have a business that produces juices and smoothies based on fruits and veg. So, what is the negative impact, or maybe what can be the cause if I just mix the fruit or just blend the fruit? Will there be any negative impact on my production just to blend maybe 3 or 4 fruits without knowing the nutrition benefits?
Okay, so your question is, can I get a clarity? Are you asking based on safety or nutrition benefits? Or both?
Yeah, actually, I'm asking on food safety because sometimes we might just mix the fruits or we might just blend the fruit, but the benefit for someone or some people are allergic to some certain types of fruit or veg. So I want to know maybe what can be the negative impact if I just blend or I just craft the fruits, maybe 5 different fruits, apple, mango, and orange, and etc. Maybe what can be the cause or what can be the negative impact if I
Impact,
just
okay.
craft those fruits?
Okay, I like your question. Interesting business, Lubabalo. So what I would say is my advice would be for you, since you've already started the business, what is important is to have, okay, number one, good hygiene practices and procedures must be applied. Like the washing of fruits thoroughly, the ones that you weigh, the fruits that require you to remove the peels. Make sure you do that thoroughly and you do it correctly. Do not be haphazard about that. And also have, like, when you say that maybe it's green smoothie, specify what the green smoothie has. Like, you must know what it has and your customer must know what the green smoothie has. I hope I'm making sense. So at the moment, maybe your business is still new. I do not know if you have packaging or not. Do you have packaging before I make this example? Like, do you have a sticker? Maybe when you are purchasing your smoothies.
Mm, Actually, my business, it's a new venture. So I've been attached with my 2 mentors on the CSIR program. And I'm also privileged to
Yes.
be incubated by InnoBiz. So
Mm,
I'm still collecting the concepts and data
mm,
so that I can refine my business. So now my mentor yesterday sent me a timeline to implement my business. So my question is, since
mm.
I haven't started operating, but
Okay.
I haven't started operating, but
Mm,
my prototype is to just mix these foods or blend these foods.
Yes.
So I just want to know maybe in terms of compliance with food and
Yes.
safety, will there be any
Any
problem?
problem?
Yeah, yes.
Okay. I believe that, as I've said, you must wash them thoroughly. You must remove the peels where you need to remove the peels. Another important thing would be for me, have proper packaging that will state what fruits you have inside your smoothie so that a consumer would know this is what the fruits has inside. Maybe you have a mango, banana, orange, and a kiwi, and what and what. And maybe if you're using milk, like it must be out there that there is milk that was used or there is yogurt that was used so that even a lactose intolerant person can know that there is this type of product that is used. Your products must have proper packaging, even when maybe it's just the start, but be that one business that speaks about what is inside their products. And if you have any more questions, I can be available, and you can even ask Mr. Ngobo as well, even as to what short course can you take on Allison just to broaden your knowledge. Short course even for just 3 days, something that you can look at and learn about without you paying for it online, so that you have that understanding and you know what procedures to follow. Mr. Ngobo, would you like to add anything, please?
Yes, definitely. I was about to request if I can able to, to add. You have already covered a number of things, but I will also really put an emphasis in the idea of thinking about making sure that he has his products labeled. He needs to have a full label, but again, maybe I can able to assist in terms of understanding his products and also trying to work around what could be the allergies that could be around the product that he uses. Maybe I can help with that also. But most importantly, food labeling to me is a way to go. And what I would like to encourage you, Lubabalo, would say, please, as part of your marketing, make your customers know when you start labeling your products as it's safe to consume. Make them know that you are giving them the food or the food item that is safe to use, so that right people like us will come to your to buy from you, because we know that you follow all the right procedures when it comes into food safety. So those were two things: making sure that you have your product labeled. It should be part of your planning. And secondly, also as part of promoting your products, make sure that we do know as customers that your food is safe to be consumed.
Thank you so much, Mr. Sboniso and you, Ms. Lenyama. I guess your words were insightful, and I hope they will create an impact towards my business. Thank you so much, and I also thank you so much, Mr. Nyama, for recommending maybe a 3-day training so that I can get more clarity on food production and so on. So thank you so much. It's a pleasure.
Thank you. Before I allow Mr. Ngube to ask a question or share comments, guys, I kindly please, Mr. Ngube, may you please kindly put for us that link for you guys to kindly evaluate this training, so that we can do better next time and we know what to continue doing. Um, excuse me, Mr. Ngobo, yes, please kindly put it on the chat box. And guys, I kindly ask
It
you,
is
please do
done.
participate
It
on
is
that
done.
one. Yes, it's there now. Please, you can do it even now while we are taking this last question from Mr. Ngobe. Over to you.
Thank you. Uh, my question is organic, like organic food, Is it safer or riskier than the normal food that we find in the shops in terms of bacteria and all those other stuff, pathogens, I think they call it that. So is it safer or is it riskier than the normal food that we buy?
Interesting question. Interesting question. I'm not an expert on that one, but what I can say is, um, what will be important, it would be the way that you take care of the product. Maybe if you are growing your own organic vegetables and fruits, so it will be important the way that you protect and take care of your product, and also the way that you, if maybe you are buying it, it is important for you to handle the product accordingly, according to um, the standards. Oh, Mr. Ngobo is also raising his hand. You can take over, Mr. Ngobo. Thank
Yeah,
you.
I'm sorry, I was not stopping you from continuing explaining. It's because it's one of the most interesting one. I was just watching, I think it was on TikTok, and somebody was talking about this genetically modified food, and that's mostly the American companies, they keep on pushing down to us as African people. So for that reason, that's why I'm like, God, it's one of the most interesting parts. Yes, I agree with you, Thobe. If the person is the one who is growing the genetically modified food, it needs to be handled according to the standards. You see, understanding what are the standards, what it means to grow your food without chemicals and all other supporting things that that's the industry use today. But then again, the question of whether it is safe or not, it also it's some kind of a gray area to us because we don't discuss that the most. We don't talk about it, but at the moment we believe that it is safe, and most of the food that we consume are mostly genetically modified food. So for that reason, we still believe that it is safe, it can be consumed. However, there's a lot of stories going around a genetically modified food in terms of some of the things that are not shared with us as consumers, the after effects of those kind of food. So me, I would say the food that is what they call it, it's genetically modified food. At the moment, we don't know whether it's safe or not, and what are the after effects in the long run. We don't know. But the one that does not involve chemicals
Organic.
and so on, yes, the organic, yes. I wanted to find that English word. Come on, yes, the one that those that are organic, yes, we believe that they are actually not the belief they are safe. However, we're going back to what Miss Nhlenyama said. Make sure that you as a customer, you really follow the company that produce that food. You try and read how do they produce that food. If it's chicken, how do they raise those chicken? If it's plant, how do they raise those plants? Because sometimes people say we raise organic food, and only to find out that they still use some chemicals in growing the food that they call it's organic food. So yeah, I would say try to make some sort of a check on a company that produced the food. But in terms of safety, I'm not too sure, and I don't know.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mr. Ngobo. Interesting topic. I hope Mr. Ngobo will put it in the list some way, and get someone to actually come and discuss this topic with us. It is very interesting. Thank you for the
Yeah,
question,
I
Mr.
think it should
Ngube.
be
I
discussed.
love it so
Yeah,
much.
yeah,
It's
yeah, yeah,
a
yeah.
very
It should be
interesting
discussed.
topic.
Should be discussed in the future.
Yes, definitely. Guys, that is it from my side. I'm not sure if Mr. Ngube, maybe you are not 100% answered, because I'm not, but I'm really believing Mr. Ngobo that he will do something for us regarding this interesting question. Yeah, thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate you. We really appreciate you for joining today. And Mr. Ngobo will send some emails to you. And yeah, That is all from my side. That is all from my side. Thank you for your respect and for participating and actually for staying even over time, and taking your time actually to listen and engage in this session today. Thank you so much. Stengoba, you can take over. Please don't forget to fill in those evaluation forms. Please don't forget to do so.
Okay, no, Thobe, thank you very much from your end, and thank you very much to our audience. And I'm looking forward to see how you have evaluated our program. And I'm hoping and I'm crossing my finger that we have an ambassador on food safety as from today. Thank you, Thobe. And from my end, bye-bye to everybody.